Back to Bloodborne Part 36. So, tackling the first two layers of Ailing Loran, we just went ahead and did our loop, leveled up a bit, got the stats up to 50 for skill, so we're going to continue to grind on that. Buntinge is going to eventually climb to 30, but want to focus on vitality and skill for now, and then maybe pump a little bit more to endurance here pretty soon. But thanks to the rune setup, I don't really need to do that right now, just because of the way Bloodborne works. Let's go ahead and tackle layer 3 and see what is in store. What I'm noticing is that this layer is definitely very dangerous, probably like more end game-ish, like outside of beating all of the stuff, story content and everything, DLC. So might be taking these on a little too early, but so far we're managing. Just kind of using the same strat setups that we did for some of the more common bosses we've seen throughout. The bolt paper is kind of indicating something there for us. even open the door without something coming through. Oh, he's coming. Great. Leave at those. What a dungeon. Vitus. Never heard of this guy. Let's see what he's all about. Hunter pistol and DLC weapon. The beast scythe. That's pretty cool. Well, let's see how we do on the first round. I don't know what it is. Oh shit, one of these guys. Oh, he's smaller. difference between that attempt versus the other one was that my helper survived longer. So, Bloodborne AI is dumb as fuck. There's just no way around it. Sometimes the NPCs that help you out will heal themselves and keep themselves alive a little bit longer than they're supposed to be, but last round that guy just kind of face tanked a bunch of damage, and then left me with like half HP to deal with. So if you summon for help, it's a two-way street. You make the boss stronger, but you get someone to kind of distract them. For that boss, there's probably a specific way to kind of deal with him. I mean, I think I kind of figured it out with the one jab to the right and then just kind of dodge underneath it, get a couple swipes in, and then back away from him. But he has like this extendy arm type of attack that was getting kind of annoying to deal with. And then once he gets the double slam and then those little air burst, little shotgun waves at you, then you're kind of, in a little bit of pain right there. But other than that, just a faster beast type of enemy. I'm sure fire and serrated will probably do very well with this fight. And fast weapons for sure. Anything slower than that's probably going to be a bit of a patience kind of a test. So the Abhorrent Beast, that was a fight that I kind of had forgotten about. So you definitely need to do that fight before you even can take on the Thumerian Queen, which is going to be for your Platinum Trophy in the end. So with that win, we got the Lower Loran Chalice, which is going to be a much harder dungeon than whatever this was. And then the Bolt Damp Blood Gem 5. So a lot of this dungeon stuff was all waning gems. So Saw Cleaver users and anyone who has those types of weapons, you're going to be in for a treat in this one. So now we just go back to the Hunter's Dream and we got to clear out one of our former dungeons in order to make a brand new one to keep on progressing towards the ultimate round against the Thumerian Queen for the Chalice dungeon stuff. And that took a chunk of resources too, so replenish whatever you might need. Don't think we're going to see a Blood to Starve beast ever again. That seemed like one of the harder ones that we've had to deal with by far. But if you need to, definitely grind some areas to go get some more fire paper, because we used a lot in that dungeon area. And for Lower Loran, it seems like we do have enough to actually make it, so that's good. And Great Ease is still requiring Arcane Haze, while the Defiled Chalice is now available as well. We just got to make Arcane Haze. Okay, so we've made some good progress for chalicing. Like I said before, with the weapons, I won't be able to really do much with the waning gem, unless I kind of go back to using the Saw Spear, but that's not what the point of this run was, so we are not going to entertain that. Fortunately, nothing new for radial or triangle gems, so that's going to have to hold out. Check the messenger pools to see if anything new might have popped from those dungeons. I don't really see anything different though.
Gam, go on. Very well, let me step.
Now we are seeing the diminishing returns for skills, so it seems like that's going to kind of run its course now. Vitality still needs a good pump. I guess we'll go back and forth with blood tinging ourselves up then.
Farewell.
A lower Loran being a depth 5 dungeons mean that's even going to be harder than what the other one was. So in that instance, I believe we might be taking on the DLC before we continue the Chalice progression. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and progress with that then. Show off how to get to the DLC first. As I said many times throughout the run, but if this is the first one you're dropping into, you're going to have to defeat Vicar Amelia, and as long as you have the Old Hunters DLC attached to the game, once you beat Vicar Amelia, you will have to come back to the Hunter's Dream, and then another pool of messengers will kind of pop on the stairs where I'm at currently, and they will end up giving you this item called the Eye of a Blood Drunk Hunter. So once you read it, there's really no way to know where the hell you're supposed to go with this thing. So how anybody figured it out, I don't know, but basically what you do is you just go right over to the Cathedral Ward. Then remember that we cleared out all of the NPCs, because at this point you would start thinking about New Game Plus runs. So there was no point to keeping any of them alive as they gave you items or other such things. And pretty much if you haven't cleared out any more quest line, this is the time to do it. But what you're going to do is, as long as you have the Eye of the Blood Drunk Hunter, you're going to come over here to the very first Amidala-like creature that we've seen. Way back in like part 2, 3, whatever it was, we went over here, there was an item behind here on a dead body for the Black Church set, and you saw a glowing orb that was kind of following you. Now beforehand you couldn't see what was trying to grab you, because we had to progress the game by a lot in order to achieve that. So now you can see what it is. This creature's grabbed us before and it's taken us to the lecture building, which gave us access to the Nightmare Frontier and so on, and then we've seen a bunch of them throughout Yarhagul, the Unseen Village. And now at this point, once you got that item and everything secured, you could do this as soon as you defeat Vicar Amelia. You can go ahead and do this, and it's kind of what a lot of people do, just to go grab all of the DLC weapons, because you can kind of suicide run for all the weapons before you even get going in the game, and then just kind of use all those DLC weapons in the main story of Bloodborne without even having to do a new game plus for it. So that's one alternate way you can probably do something like that, but simply just walk up to this thing, wait for the hand to come grab you.
Fiends, their children too. And their children forever true.
Then you will enter a alternate version of the Cathedral Ward. So DLC is kind of infamous in the way that it reused a lot of assets from the main game. Not going to be a total bunch of new areas. It is going to look different. There is one specific spot in DLC that is like completely different from the main game, so they did very good on that. But these little intro areas are gonna look like basic Yarnum for the most part, just with a few like fleshy pods, you know, more of a hellish design from its original. But we'll just step outside and show a little bit of it, because I'm not going to take on the full DLC just yet. We still have the door right here, but it will not lead upwards. There will be another shortcut when we get to it. And like I said, it's pretty much just reused stuff. They just kind of cut out everything else here. Like an alternate type universe for it, but you see a bunch of items already kind of scattered throughout. You can grab those early. Something that's very dangerous about the DLC, though, is that there are hunters. Old hunters, to be exact. So these guys carry weapons that can kind of turn into chain whips, just like the threaded cane. They've got some hammers that do some fire damage, and there's beast guys. There's just a lot of shit going on in the DLC that can be very dangerous as soon as you hit the point of being able to do it. And that's why I call it a suicide run, because pretty much these dudes will just one-shot you the entire time. But every hunter in this DLC is parryable. And here's one such guy right here. Not much in the way we can do to kind of stagger those dudes. You see that they have like their own blunderbusses and stuff like that too, so they're very capable of ending you just like any other enemy in the game. And the problem with these hunters is that they actually come back. Every single time you die or you go back to the hunter's dream, they will always come back. So at this point in the game, the developers were really telling you that you better get your parry skills up, because it's going to be a long one if you don't. Then should you ever need to return to the DLC, you do not have to go through that Amidala ever again. All you do is just come to this headstone that the doll was kind of kneeling towards every now and again once we pop in and out from the Hunter's Dream. And this will be the teleport stone for all of the locations throughout the entire DLC. So I'll do a little bit more research on what chalicing will entail, and which ones I should destroy and stuff like that before I end up doing something regrettable and having to redo something that I don't want to do. But for the most part, Ailing Loran was challenging experience for sure. A couple of new levels gained from that I normally wouldn't even have at this point. So it's definitely very end gamey, but also at the same time can help you through some of the DLC content or end game as well for the main story. But if you've been following up to this point, we have 4 umbilical cords that we can use. You only need to use 3. You would go all the way down here through the gates that we've seen since the beginning of the game. And then you would talk to Gurman, and you'll be given 3 options. You can either accept his offer, and then your game will end. You'll be immediately thrusted into New Game Plus. You can refuse his offer, and then have a little fight. And then afterwards, you'll be put into New Game Plus as well. And then for your third option, you'll have to just use 3 of the umbilical cords, refuse his offer, fight him, and then a secret boss at the end of that all, and then you will get what is considered the true ending for Bloodborne. So in total, you will have to do 3 full playthroughs of New Game Plus runs, or however you want to kind of divvy it up, in order to achieve all of the trophies for that kind of stuff for the endings. But we are going to continue on and go through the entire DLC, along with what we've been doing with the Chalice Dungeons. So the Bloodborne experience is still alive, and there is not that much left of the main story, but for the DLC we are just getting started. And even though the DLC is very short, it is very challenging as well. The bosses they've added to that are extremely hard. So we have a long way to go. But thanks for watching up to this point, and we will continue our journey on the next part.